Hello, everybody. This is A.L. Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Power Book 2 Ghost. So, before I get into this, I just wanted to briefly state that I have been going through depression, and I know that I might seem distant, and that's why. So, I just wanted to be very transparent with you guys and let y'all know what was going on. And I just want to thank everybody who has been very supportive of me and what I do, despite me not uploading as often as I really wish I could. Because if I could, I would try to upload at least once a day. So anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this recap review. So it starts out with Tariq being on the phone with Monet, and she's going over the rules to the game. She's like, pay the exact amount, make sure the stuff is on time, and pay with cash. And that makes sense. That's common sense to me. So I'm like, oh, okay. And she could tell that he already knew what it was because he ended up telling her the last one before she could even part her lips to say it. So anyway, he is actually on his way to see Simon, and Simon was not there. He was actually met with Simon's husband, who is a very young man, nice looking. And, he basically wanted to present this idea for an app for tutoring. And he was just like, okay, this seems amazing. That's cool. And he was just like, look, this is just something that I want to do that's going to be low key under the table, basically. And he looking at him like, well, how am I going to do that? Because Simon is going to want to see paperwork. He's going to want a paper trail. He ain't going to like this. And so he was like, why Simon got to know about this? This can be between the two of us. So he was looking at him like, okay, all right, let me go ahead and get 15% about you. And he was like, yeah, how about 3%? And old boy was like, dang, what? Oh, no. So eventually they agree upon the husband getting 5%. Because he can just tell that Tariq has a certain je ne sais quoi about himself or whatever. And he's just like, he gonna be lucrative. It's gonna be lucrative. It's gonna pan out. It's gonna do what it needs to do. It's gonna pop. So, the numbers add up. Everything makes sense. So he's like, okay, that's cool. Y'all, Tasha ended up calling Tariq and telling him, you need to drop whatever you're doing right now, go get a gun. He looking at him like, I have enough trouble going in and out of these buildings without a gun. And you want me to go ahead and get a gun? That ain't even making no sense. And so, he still does not know the full extent as to why she's saying all this. I'm just like, girl, why don't you just tell him everything? Despite the fact of him not telling you what's going on. So anyway, I'm just like, everybody just trifling. Y'all. So he, apparently is on his way to class now. And so we later see Jabari teaching and, coming to the end of what he's talking about in his class, looking all fine and succulent and whatnot. And Professor Milgram and that guy come in there. Y'all, I don't never know his name. Y'all know the white guy, the older white guy. I don't know if he's like the dean over that department or whatever, but yeah. Or one of the deans, because sometimes these places have 2 or 3 deans over one department because they might have a lot of students or whatever. But anyway, they come in there and Professor Milgram announces that their fellowship program is about to be, underway. And people need to start doing what they need to do to see if they're going to get that opportunity, because it's going to be awarded to one student. This is going to be the time where you get into this program, do it, and you get out of school early. So y'all know the little hood girl is like, who want to get out of school early? I'm like, girl, what is you talking about? Anyway, y'all know this is music to Tariq's ears. And it's crazy because the little hood girl, she asked London, she was like, girl, you better go ahead and apply to that, your man up there in DC. Because a part of it is you're going to be living in DC. They're going to pay for that too or whatever. And so Tariq, he over here kind of trying to, get at her and was like, oh, so you got a man in DC. Okay. And I'm like, everybody need to stop. Y'all just, y'all doing a lot. Y'all, Monet and Kane rolled up on a group of people who are supposed to be like some of the people who are dealing for the family. They out here doing the most. They out here flogging. It's just like, go somewhere and sit down, sell the drugs and go home. But no, y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to be out here stunting for the gram and doing all of this, and you're bringing too much attention to the business, which essentially is bringing too much attention to Monet and her family. So they came to tell them, stop it, ain't nobody got time. All right. They walking off. Tell me why this man gonna call Monet the Spanish word for vagina, basically. And she turned around and was like, excuse me, what'd you say? Oh my gosh. She was like, I know you ain't gonna say it to my face. And he acted like he wasn't gonna say nothing. And then he slowly proceeded to start to say it again and Kane beat his face in. Jaw probably gonna need to be rewired at this point. Somebody thought they was gonna jump bad. And Monet was like, do you think you really want to do that? Do you really want to do that? Because I think they was gonna try to pull a gun on them. And she was like, do you really want to do that? Kane beat that boy down. I was like, all right. It is what it is. Don't be bringing all that attention to their drug enterprise. They doing the most. So what you think they trying to... Ain't nobody got time for them to be out here getting exposed like that because you want to be out here doing stupid stuff. So anyway, y'all, Tariq and Braden are discussing how the app is going to go. And, you know, it seems to be an amazing plan. Braden is on board. And it's just crazy, y'all. Hold on. Excuse me. I didn't want to mess it up like that, but I had to go ahead and take a, because I can feel the sleepy, the little groggy, the little raspiness coming on. But anyway, y'all, the way that the app is set up, if you are trying to get drugs, they actually have it set. Okay, let me explain it like this. The way that they have it set up is if you actually want the drugs, you have to ask for the premium package. And depending on which course you click on, they know which drugs to include in your package. So they have to make it look like, it's real. So they're actually mixing in people who really need help and people who really can, who really need the money, whether they're on financial aid or not. They have them actually doing tutoring, and they have people who really need tutoring, but they have everybody mixed in who are wanting to do drugs as well. So yeah, it's a lot. It is smart, and I get it. So I'm like, okay, they didn't do that. I don't blame you. So anyway, y'all, let's see. All right. Y'all, it went well. Like the first day went exceptionally well to the point where Braden is sitting up here throwing the money all around the room. Like he was like, look at all this money, we're doing so good. I was like, yeah, y'all are doing great with those rich kids. Y'all, Tariq rolled up on Davis and was like, what you're not finna do is waste my money on these mock trials. And so he was like, look, it wasn't a waste. Your mama don't need to be put up on nobody's stand to say nothing, never in life. And he was like, well, y'all should have been put me up on the stand. And he was just like, you are her son. Any judge or any jury is going to look at you and be like, whether you're telling the truth or not, you are her son. So they know that you're going to say whatever needs to be said in order to get her out. So that's never going to be a smart idea. So he was like, look, if y'all going to go for Sachs, y'all better take him down. And he dropped that big old stack of money on him. And I was like, oh, well, excuse me. So anyway, Tasha's in jail and she thinks she's being watched. And she is, but she don't know she's being watched by several people. But anyway, she'll be all right, but she seems a little scared. Davis rolled up on the judge and was like, look, I want to bring some witnesses forward that can, testify. And they might be able to shed some light on some stuff that Sachs had going on because I feel like he is not credible. So yeah. So she was like, I'll allow it. And she straight up told Sachs, if I find out that this is some kind of personal situation to you because you want to get too close to this case, or if it's political, stunt of some sort, some kind of politically motivated foolishness, you're gonna have to recuse yourself. So he looking kind of worried, and I'm like, I don't know. I hope he shoot himself in the foot, because y'all know I can't stand Sax. So anyway, y'all, Kane, Diana, Drew, and Zeke are at the house talking. Monet overhears them and was like, look, y'all gonna find out anyway, so let me go ahead and tell y'all what it's gonna be. What it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be. Tariq St. James, is his name St. James? No, Tariq St. Patrick, y'all. I knew I was gonna say it eventually. Tariq St. James is going to St. Patrick, I just said St. James again, y'all, I'm sorry, is going to be working with us. He's partnering with us. Y'all know Kane ain't here for nothing. He feels like he is equal partners with his mama, and I'm just like, you really are dumb, but okay. Anyway, he's in his feelings and was like, after everything was said and done, Drew was actually told that he is going to have to be the one to go up to the school and pull up on Tariq and see what he got going on and to see how he runs things. So in the meantime, Kane in his feelings and was like, I should have known about this. And so she looking at him like, look, the problem is you think that you're an equal partner, but you ain't. You need to play your role. You need to stay in your lane. What you did earlier when you beat old boy down, that's your lane. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their role to play, and that's not what you can do. So don't worry about what's going on over here. Do what you're supposed to do and stay in your lane. And I was just like, girl, you told the truth, because he really thinks he's supposed to be able to do everything. And I'm just like, but you can't though. Y'all, anyway, let me readjust myself. Ugh, had a long day. Anyway, so Drew actually popped up on him. Tariq knew what it was from the door, and he was like, I know you're here to try to scope me out, see what I got going on. And so he was like, look, I brought some drugs. And he looking at him like, why would you do that? Why you bringing stuff up in here like that? I don't need no drugs, da-da-da-da. All this other stuff. And he brought a little bit. He didn't know he was going to need more later on, and we'll get to that. But anyway, y'all, he was like, look, I ain't got time to show you what I do and how I get down. I got a class to go to. He was like, well, I'm tagging along. He done tagged along to this art class that he has, and he had to partner up with somebody. Drew ended up partnering up with this dude, and this is when we find out that he likes men. I don't know if he only likes men, but he was very interested in this man, and the both of them are very nice looking men in real life. So I was like, oh, well, excuse me. Y'all, so anyway, Sax is in his feelings, and the dude that he tried to, get him to help redeem himself or whatever is like, look, Davis stonewalled me. I can't do things I want to do. And while he in the middle of talking, the police end up bringing Sax's niece in because his niece was caught in the park trying to buy marijuana off somebody. And he basically had to talk them out of arresting her and charging her and all this other stuff. And he was like, I'm tired of bailing you out. I'm tired of doing all this for you. This don't make no sense. Why you out here doing like this? You need to just stop. And so she was like, look, my dealer was out of town. I have a party coming up. What do you expect me to do? I was like, girl, you can tell how privileged she is. Y'all, if you couldn't tell how privileged she was when she said that, this next part is what really proved how privileged she was. So Sax was like, well, look, I'm gonna have to tell your mom. And so she was like, no, please don't tell my mom. I'll do anything. I'll try to get the family. I'll try really hard to get the family to stop calling you Nancy. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And so he was, of course he had those wheels turning. I was like, he gonna try to use this heifer to get to Tariq in some kind of way. And of course that's what he was doing. So I was like, bro, you just doing the most. I'm tired. This is what made me just roll my eyes. She was like, no, you can't tell whatever the sister's name is. She said her mama's full, first name. Y'all, I cannot. I know some people do that. Like, I have a cousin that does that, and I look at him sideways every time. Like, I'm never calling my mom by her first name or her nickname. And everybody call my mama by her nickname. Like, no. If I ever do that, I know my mom will look sideways at me like, who are you talking to? But anyway, y'all, I can't. The privilege is just too much. So anyway, Now back to Drew. Him and old boy are hitting it off, and it's to the point where they are so deep in conversation that he does not realize that Tariq got up and left up out of the class. They are exchanging numbers and IG information because he's trying to get up in them DMs. And Drew told him, I got it on private. I just keep that to myself. I don't really be out here like that. And he was like, shoot, let me go ahead and see what you working with on that. Because he can really draw. So, you can tell that they are exchanging information. Y'all, Blanca was called in again. Sax is over here throwing her under the bus. Davis looked like he had a case at first, but then they ended up turning the questioning over to Sax, and he used it against him. And this is why people like Sax end up dead with a bullet through the temple. I'm just saying. And if that ends up happening at some point in this season, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just not. I'm just not. Y'all know I can't stand Sax. But anyway, y'all, it's to the point where the judge straight up told Blanca, look, just gonna let you know, giving you a heads up, I'm going to be sending a copy of the transcript of this meeting, of this hearing, to your, superiors. Blanca might not have a job, y'all, after this. I'm tired in my spirit for Blanca. Like, see, this is why I'm telling you, Sax should have been killed. I wish he would have gotten killed last season, because people like him are the ones who need to die. Like, they are the ones who need to be just dealt with in a way where if they aren't dead, you need to torture them in a way where they will never speak again of anything in relation to anything. Like, I can't. So anyway, like, I can't. Like, he really got up there and read Blanca for filth about stuff that he was very well connected to that would incriminate him, and he knew that it would incriminate her too. I was like, oh no, this fool brought receipts and everything. Like, I was tired. So anyway, y'all, they ended up bringing up Proctor and the bug that was planted and all. Like, he just really did the most. And Davis was having a field day with all of this. But yeah, he just really, Sax did the most, and he did everything in his power to show how Blanca is not a credible witness. And I'm just like, bruh. The DNC rolled up on Tate, who y'all know in real life is Loren's Tate. And they basically are like, look, we got to get ahead of the story. They probably are going to call you to the stand to testify. And he looking at them like, well, y'all know I ain't trying to testify. I'm trying to be the governor. So bye, y'all handle this. And they looking like, but what you're not finna do is this, because you've said some information before. And why did you say this information? And they look, he had to, come back and, just basically be like, all right, now, if I get up here and say what I gotta say, even if it's not the truth, which is James St. Patrick was an upstanding citizen, hopefully I will be able to get off the hook. Y'all, I'm tired. So anyway, Tariq, I already said that, didn't I? Yep, Tariq. So Drew is back at the place, at the apartment, in the room or whatever, of the guy who he was fraternizing with, and they were making out, and some things are going to go down. Tariq was trying to reach him. He done missed 5 phone calls from him, and I guess he realizes what he wanted, called his sister. Now, Monet at the house fuming. She tired. She walk around the house mad all day. She does. Y'all know she does. So she tired of her spirit. She had already taken Diana's phone earlier in the day and was like, look, what you gonna do is put this phone on speaker. Your brother is calling you. I don't know why Drew calling you, but everybody calling everybody, and ain't nobody calling me. I want to know what's being said. Put it on speaker. I want to know what's being said. So she put the phone on speaker, talked to her brother, and he was like, look, I'm in a bind. I'm nowhere near Tariq. Everything is cool, but I need you to do me a favor. I need you to bring some drugs up here to the school and bring them to Tariq. But I'm not with him. I owe you big, whatever. So hang up the phone, and Monet tied in her spirit. And she was just like, look, what you're going to do is go up there and do what he say or whatever, but you need to find out information too. So yeah, whatever. Tate ended up, showing up for the I don't know why I can't think of what it is. It's like not trial, but it's just meeting in the chambers with the judge and you know, like pre-trial stuff. And he's in there and he literally goes in there and says what he has to say, even though everything is pretty much a lie because Ghost was trash. And I'm just like, what we not finna do is try to make like Ghost was just this angel. He wasn't. But you know, you can't make the DNC look bad, so it is what it is. Y'all, the judge excused him. And tell me why. Y'all don't understand. I laid completely out when this happened. Davis was tired because he could see through the foolishness. And he said, you are one lying Nigga. Fun fact, I don't curse. The closest I do to cursing per se is in text messages to my friends where I will like abbreviate something and I have to be like extremely angry, which does not happen very often. But the only thing that I do say, because I stopped saying Nigga, again, a part of the fun fact is that while growing up, the closest thing to a cuss word that I could say was that word in front of my parents or anybody else without anybody raising an eyebrow like, what are you saying? What you say? Like, I don't know what that was about, but that was something that could be said freely and it was not seen as offensive or anything negative or whatever. So yeah, the only thing that I kind of say from time to time though is Negro. Now, if you watch Black Lightning, you will understand that dude Tobias, he kills me. The way he says Negro, I'm just like, Negro, y'all don't understand. If you've never seen that, you got to see it and see the way he says Negro, and you'll be like, all right, now you doing a lot. Like, he kills me. He puts so much emphasis on how he says Negro. I'll be tired of my spirit. But anyway, y'all, David went off. He tired. He saw through the foolishness, y'all. So anyway, Drew is back at the house. He has collected the money that he was supposed to get from Tariq, from the sales that had been made. And he's in the shower. Monet rolled up and was like, you know, what's going on? What did you find out? He was like, I didn't find out anything. You know, everything is everything. And, you know, he seems legit. And so she was like, okay, cool. Where the money at? And so he was like, the money is in my bag. So she reached in the bag, got the stack of money out. For whatever reason, something told her to reach back up in the bag again. She reached up in the bag and pulled out a stencil pad that showed a drawing that he'd done of like the neck down torso portion of a man's body. You can tell by the way that she responded that she knows that Drew likes men. And so she was like, you know, I know you're not soft and, you know, the family supports you, always come home. Like everything she said while he was in the shower listening to her, you could tell that he was like, okay, she must have seen my stencil pad. She must have seen my drawing. And, you know, she said what she said and walked off. So I was like, okay, all right. At least you ain't trying to kill him because he gay. But I do want to know if Kane, of all people, knows that he's gay, bi, or whatever. I want to know because I feel like Kane would probably kill him if he knew. I don't know if he, you know, is one of those progressive thugs, if you will, who's like, oh, well, they gay. I don't care as long as they do what they're supposed to do. As long as you have my money, I don't care. I don't know. Y'all, anyway, they end up having the dinner at Lauren's house. Professor Milgram shows up. She didn't know Jabari was going to be there, I don't think. Or she was just tied in her spirit because he was there and he was doing the most. But anyway, they had to have pleasantries. That didn't last very long. So it's Professor Milgram, Jabari fine behind, Lauren, Lauren's parents. Eventually, Tariq showed up because y'all know he stayed late. And she was looking like, nice of you to join us. I was like, girl, he gonna lie to us. I'm sorry I was late. I gave a lie as usual. And it gets to the point where you could tell that Jabari and Carrie, aka Professor Milgram, are like going back and forth and arguing. She was reading him. Like, they were reading each other. Like, her parents would say something about his books or something, And so she would like laugh sarcastically. I was like, y'all doing the most in front of these people. But y'all, it was a mess. They excused themselves, and Lauren and Tariq went and talked, and he saw a picture of her brother. And so she basically said that, he's a drug addict and he's in a facility. And I'm just like, people just don't understand how crazy life is. The fact that you're into somebody who actually is a drug dealer, it's just always been funny to me. Like, her brother had this habit. It just started spiraling out of control, and he out here dealing. She don't know it yet. And it's like, okay. So anyway, they talking about they have secrets and they doing the most. They end up kissing, and I'm like, ugh, whatever. Y'all doing the most. I don't know why they want to push this on us, that they gonna be together. They don't even look right together to me. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm here for him and Diana being together. Can't nobody say. So anyway, there's a ring of the doorbell, and her mama was like, Lauren, you have a visitor. So she looking like, what? Her boyfriend Malcolm done showed up. I'm like, bruh. She literally just had all her lip gloss, lipstick, or whatever she had on all over Tariq's lips because they just kissed. Like, bruh, it's too much. So anyway, at one point during the dinner, before they even left the table, you could tell that Professor Milgram had slept with Davis, because they brought the conversation to the case that's going on with Tariq's mom and all this other stuff. And Jabari was trying to be petty. He was like, oh, you know Davis, don't you? And so she was like, yes, I do, man. You could tell he was being petty. Oh my gosh, I bet they screwed. And it wouldn't surprise me. But we're going to get to that later on. So anyway, sex addict or not, Jabari is fine. And after they left that place and got back to the school or wherever they was at, they got into an argument, and eventually they screwed, and she took over that whole situation. He thought he was gonna run something. He didn't run nothing. I understand. I'm sorry. I would have to break down too. Jabari fine. Jabari is fine. She might as well just get over it and just be a sex addict that's gonna never recover, because she cannot hold her composure. She can't do nothing with him right. He's fine. I understand. I would have to bust it wide open, tell her to bring it back too, girl. I get it. So anyway, y'all, Sax's niece is at this party. And so he basically is using her. She's spying on Tariq, trying to see what's going on. And she eventually snaps a picture of him after she has, kind of befriended Braden. And I'm just like, girl. Fight broke out between Braden and the dude who Epiphany held hostage, so to speak, so that he could get some selling done at a party that he was supposed to be at. Y'all, the most going on. So anyway, Davis is screwing the assistant. Davis is married. How dare you? He fine though, girl. He fine, but he married. Oh my gosh. Tamika received flowers, and she realizes that they're from Davis, and then the smile was quickly wiped off of her face when she learns that she's being served by him. Oh my gosh, I died laughing at that part too. Tariq is in class. Lauren has been trying to reach out to him to apologize and talk to him, and he's looking like ain't nothing to talk about. And so she was like, I really just want to talk to you and apologize. And, he keeps trying to reiterate, ain't nothing to talk about, we're good. And I know that, I might have a little bit of competition and I have options. And then she looks over at his phone because his phone is blowing up. Lauren is texting him. And so she had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to ask him, who's Diana? He was like I said, I have options. I was like, boy, if you don't go somewhere, sit down. Tasha is in prison. She's doing push-ups, and she receives this text message from Lorenzo that had a picture of Tariq in his art class. And he basically said in a caption that, your son is doing well for my business. He has earned another day above ground. And Tasha is in her feelings. Sax received a phone message from his niece and it's a picture of him, and I was just like, everybody doing the most. Anyway, that was the end. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all later on.